Got to play your cards here when you can, okay?
And that brings us into chapter 3, which is the airship crew. They are staying essentially in a storage room. There are still supplies being stored in their bedroom. They just have a few hammocks that were thrown up in there as well. Fain, immediately being used to the boat life, hops on the hammock instantly at home. Adelgis comes in, ends up putting Volke to sleep, and Volke has these dreams of being on the island of Ruma. Gravekeeper William's there, essentially giving him a pep talk for how to handle the plague.
Volke mentions that Gravekeeper William is 6 inches taller than Volke. We know Volke is about 6 feet tall. Volke is considered tall to begin with. And then we see Gravekeeper William at 6'6". So this guy must be an absolute giant in comparison to everybody else. I imagine Gravekeeper William is probably the first one picked for the basketball team, and I imagine when he was a naval officer, he probably had a hard time getting around the ship because of how tall he was.
Yeah, it's not built for people that big. A lot of bending over. For most of the people that Volke has seen, their role has meant for them to die with the plague. So when we think of people protecting the throne room, they are going to stay at their post and live and die by that regardless of plague. Volke's in a unique situation where he actually could survive the plague. He's not infecting anyone right now. They're on their way for a cure, so the big thing that he struggles with is, am I being selfish looking for a cure? Gravekeeper William gives him the point of, what if you find it? What if you survive? You've done so much already, and there's so much good that could actually come of this. So that conversation is really helpful for Volke. It gives him a lot of the kind of back and forth that I think he needed with the arcane plague that he wasn't really able to open up with anyone else about. When he does wake up, though, there is a very sneaky person holding a knife to his throat. So Luther is luckily out getting food, which is fun for something that doesn't need to eat. Adelgis actually arranged for this to happen, so he heard the thoughts of the women stalking the cabin, essentially arranged for this threatening to happen so that she could get her words out to Volke and essentially tell him, if anyone on the airship crew gets hurt, if anything sketchy happens, she's coming straight for him. So Adelgis being the real good friend there and helping him out. They do make their way up to the deck. They get to see kind of the world from the airship, which has to be just an amazing view. And a young child appears. This child is Bayou, and she also does have an eye patch similar to Ilya. And as they go through their conversation, she essentially taking notes, keeping records for the ship. And the thing that comes up is that she knows Volke's real last name. So even when he tells her Volk's Van, she goes, "Oh, that's not your name." So she is obviously more familiar with Volke than she probably should be. The final piece of fun information that we get in this is just from listening to thoughts. Adelgis has pretty much figured out that it is a ragtag bunch for a crew. Everyone who comes from a questionable background has gone through some sort of hardships and struggling to get back from, but the airship is pretty much giving them a chance at a better life.
We don't really have any new bestiaries or any new mythical creatures. At the time of the recording, we're in basically the last week of May, and talking with Shammy, her bestiary is in printing at the moment. So it will be coming out and is probably going to be out around the time this episode airs. However, she has asked that we refrain from adding any additional information that's in the bestiary until it is officially out into the hands of those that paid for with the Kickstarter. So respecting her wishes, we will keep some information in our back pocket until it is available to everybody else. But I rest assured we will be getting that information out once we are available to. So we'll be going back through each section of chapters that doesn't have a new mystical creature. We will be updating some information along the way as or after the bestiary is released and everybody has it available to read.
And yes, we do want to name drop that Shammy is a friend of the pod.
So we do want to thank everybody for listening today. We do want to remind everybody that we have a new episode every Wednesday morning around 11 Eastern, 10 Central, 8 Pacific, and whatever Mountain Time does We are on all podcasting platforms, and we are also on the YouTube as well for video. So if you would like to see Scott and I talking rather than just listening, if you want to reach out to us, you can get us at Gmail at frithguildpod@gmail.com, or on Facebook or other social media platforms. Pretty much anything that any social media, type at Frith Guild Podcast and you will find us. We do want to thank the Frith Chronicles Wiki, as it is a great resource, and that there is a link to everything down in the description below for both podcast and YouTube. So we will be doing an interview in the middle of this book to break it up a little bit, so that way we also have a little bit of a break in it as well. So, Scott, do you have anything else you'd like to add today?
No, excited for this newest adventure.
So excited.
Side questing.
Side questing, yes. All right, thanks everybody.